On the Iowa football front, of course, quarterback Mark Gronowski, it was announced just here in the last couple of days that he will need surgery that's coming up in June uh, toward his shoulder area. That, of course, begs the question, Corey, how that affects the quarterback battle. We posted a link, actually, and posted a poll, I should say, on the front page of the channel here just a few minutes ago. So we'll check in on the results, but who will be the week one starter in 2025? And just your thoughts about how this may impact the quarterback battle and Granowski's preparedness for fall camp.
Well, I know a lot of people have went on the defense because the initial reaction to this from many people out there was, oh my goodness, we got another Cade McNamara situation. And you knew that was coming when the announcement came from Iowa about the injury. Do I believe it's another Cade McNamara situation from an injury standpoint? No. It's not a serious knee injury. Sounds like shoulder, I think, although I don't think that was in the official release, but it sounds like a pretty routine cleanup. The problem, first of all, I'd like to know why that's not being done. Like, if it's routine, is it really 6-month recovery? I guess I would like to know exactly the nature of the procedure and why it would take so long if he's not going to resume until June. So that would be my one thing. The second thing is, a lot of people went on the defense and said, calm down, no big deal. It's not the same as Cade. And I don't think it's the same as Cade. However, I don't think it's no big deal. You're bringing a guy in that many people think is the starter next year. Okay. He's projected as the starter next year over Brendan Sullivan. Sullivan had a chance in the Music City Bowl to change that narrative, whether they went out and got Gronowski or not. Had Sullivan came out and played 4 really good quarters in the Music Bowl, it would be a totally different conversation we'd be having right now, Mark. It would be. I mean, if he looked really good against Mizzou, we'd be like, man, that's going to be hard even for Gronowski to come in and take that job for him. That's not what happened. He's really struggled in the second half. And so, frankly, I look at this situation as, advantage Sullivan if he sticks around. If he decides to stick it out. The graduate transfer rules are different. So he's able to hop in the portal if he wants to and explore other schools, even though the December window has closed. But if he sticks around, he does have an opportunity to gain some serious ground or to take some serious ground from Mark Gronowski. The idea that Gronowski not playing on an entirely new team, totally different offense, totally different players around him. The idea that that doesn't matter is foolery. I don't understand the people out there that want you to be convinced that it doesn't matter. I don't get that. Think about all those reps in spring that he's not getting with new signee Sam Phillips, with all the young receivers, that even those that were here last year. A guy like Seth Anderson, who's already missed a lot of reps due to his own injury problems. Jacob Gill, who has a lot of experience with Brendan Sullivan, not much experience, not any experience with Gronowski. All these guys are new. They didn't bring, it'd be one thing if they had gotten the Wilde kid that ended up going to Northwestern, because he has experience in chemistry with Gronowski. They didn't get him. All these guys are new. It is impactful. We talked about this after the season ended. We said, hey, they could go after a quarterback after spring. But we all said, nah, that's not preferred, because you want to bring somebody in before spring that can have spring ball to work with these guys he's never worked with before. That's not happening now. Now, there's still an advantage of having a guy now as opposed to later. He's able to be around the team, learn the offense, get off-field chemistry, camaraderie with his teammates. But the premise of getting a guy in before spring so he can compete in the spring is now out the window with that news. And I don't know that you can't expect. Recruiting is what recruiting is. You can't expect Kirk Ferentz, nobody within the program publicly announced, we are recruiting Mark Gronowski, nor will they do that. So it's a very tricky situation because I've heard from some fans that feel like they've been lied to in a sense, or not even lied to, but misled because they had no idea Mark Gronowski had an injury. At the same time, whose obligation is it to tell fans that are donating to a collective that a guy that the school is going after is hurt? They don't get to choose where they can choose which sport the money is dedicated to, but they ultimately don't get to choose how where the swarm puts this money and this money. So I can sympathize with people who say that. I can understand why they're disappointed. They maybe feel misled. I'm not saying you should feel misled. I'm just saying I can understand where somebody like that is coming from. And this is unfortunate. It is impactful. Hopefully, it's not drastically impactful. And I guess the only positive that comes from this is you get Hank Brown more snaps. You get Jimmy Sullivan more snaps. Assuming Jackson Stratton and Brennan Sullivan are both here throughout spring, you get them more snaps because there's only so many snaps to go around. I don't know how you go through spring ball with 6 quarterbacks. I don't know how do you do that? I don't understand. They have 6 quarterbacks on the roster now. I don't know how they carry that into fall camp. And if they do, there's just going to be a couple of guys that aren't getting any snaps. So if anything, it gives maybe younger guys an opportunity to feel like, hey, maybe I will get a little run here during spring ball. And I am excited to see what Jimmy Sullivan and Hank Brown can do because they're new to the program. But not having Granowski play in the spring is a hit. I don't care how you spin it. That's my opinion.
No, I totally agree. And I came up with a couple examples. One would be JJ McCarthy. Many believe that the season that he took over for Cade McNamara was hindered and it actually became a quarterback battle. So let's understand the conclusion became that JJ McCarthy was a much better quarterback than Cade McNamara. He became a first-round pick in the NFL draft, something that Cade McNamara could only dream about at this point. And JJ McCarthy was coming off an injury in the college football playoff that took him out of the spring, hampered him into fall camp, and then it set up a situation where McNamara and McCarthy basically dueled it out for the first 3 games. Then McCarthy took hold, took over the job. Joe Burrow at LSU, for how great he was as a senior, his junior year at LSU, good quarterback, really capable game manager type quarterback. But that was the season in which he didn't come on campus until sometime in June, didn't work with the team and his teammates until August. And if you look at LSU's season, the season before they won the national championship, slow start. Then he got better and better and better. They went on a run. He threw 5 touchdowns in the Peach Bowl that year against UCF. And then the rest is history. He vaulted into the next season, but they got off to a slow start. He didn't hit campus and wasn't able to practice with this team. Those are the first 2 examples that come to mind.
Yeah. So hopefully, like JJ, in the long run, this doesn't really hurt them. But at the same time, he's got 1 year.